Is what's good, people? Welcome back to another episode. Fucking hell, I'm gonna choke out of it. Welcome back to another episode of Durag Diaries with your boy Jords. You already know what it is. If you're gonna ask the questions, where's the Durag? We know what happened last game. It got stripped, bro. Roma settings, 90th minute, stripped away from me. It's dark. But as you guys know, let's do the usual. Thank you for checking in. Smash the like on the video. It don't take a second. It don't cost you nothing. It helps more people find the channel. Plus, big love from me for doing that. So just do a little like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you keep up with all the content. Smash the notification bell if you want to make sure you're up to date. First one here to all the videos. And then make sure you share this. Share this with your people then. Share this with Spurs fans. I'm sure they're going to want to tune in and lock into some more Durag Diary stuff, whether they want to see tears, whether they want to see happiness, joy. Just make sure you share this with them. But as we know, Sunday, Tottenham versus Fulham, home settings. We're back at the lane in the Premier League. And, Premier League settings. Let's forget about Europa League. Put that in the back of our minds. Got a game ahead of us. A game that can put us into the top four. If Brighton lose and if Arsenal or Chelsea lose, if one of them teams lose, we can go into the top four. Strong position. And a game where we need to build off of that City win, that City performance, because it was amazing. It generally was amazing. And unfortunately, we couldn't keep the high-flying momentum taking us into the Europa League game. So we got to hope that it can carry through with us into this Sunday match. Now, Fulham is definitely a team we need to be wary of. Just looking at the tables, we're sixth, they're ninth, they're a point behind us. Yes, they lost their last game, but they won the 2 games prior to that. I know the Wolves 4-1 loss looks bad, but I think they generally just had a bad game that day. They had a bad day at the office. Wolves done their thing. Matheus Cunha's just been flying. He's been flying most of this season, but the past 3 games in particular for them, back-to-back man of the matches, he's doing his thing. Whereas when you look at our form, win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. And that seems to be Tottenham throughout most of this season, consistently inconsistent. Yeah, you might get bored of me saying that, but I'm going to continue to say that because it's the facts. It's the truth. We're consistently inconsistent. Now, when I look at this game, and I look at the previous results over the last couple of years, it's not been a great fixture for us. The last 2 seasons, and it's not, well, last season, let's just say last season, they done the job on us last season. 3-0 they pumped. I couldn't believe they hit us for free at their ground, honestly. And I know we beat them 2-0 at our ground, but it's fair to say they had a few mistakes. Calvin Bassey gave it away fairly easy, and Sonny just slotted home, as well as they beat us in the League Cup on penalties. Now, Fulham's a strong team. They got a lot of good players. When I look at that front line, Adama Traore, Iwobi, ESR, you know, Raul Jimenez mixed with my man up top, Rodrigo Muniz. Like they've got options, yeah. Come like NSG, they really got options up there. But at the back, they're not that great. They're not that great. They do concede quite a bit of goals. They open themselves up. And I mean, 17 conceded is not a huge amount, but they've got 0 goal difference for a reason, because it goes either one way or the other for them. They can be really good or they're really bad. Now, with Tottenham, I haven't seen any news to allude to the fact that we've got anyone coming back from injury. If we have Romero coming back, it's a huge boost. I know Dragusin's played decent in the past 2 games, but as you guys know me, Romero, captain, he comes in regardless. I know his performances haven't been great as of late, and I have gotten to Romero myself, but he's still the level above either of the centre-backs that we have currently, so should be slotting into that team straight away. And I would say take Dragusin out, because Davies has marshalled the line really well, and I think Romero needs someone next to him to speak him through the games. I feel like he needs someone that can tell him where he needs to go, when to drop, you know, literally coach him through a game, because he's just a bit too rash. I feel like his football IQ isn't there. He's got great ability, but he loses his mind far too much. And we see he steps out of position. He loves to go in with a challenge that's just not needed. And we need to be a bit more controlled in our games, in our approach. And that's sort of what helps us in the City game. So if we can maintain that controlled approach, it's going to help us going forward. Now, it would be interesting to see from Ange how we're going to set up the midfield and the attack. Because obviously in the City game, we adjusted a little, having Kulusevski out on the right. and bringing Madders into the fold. But then against Roma, he went back to how it was previously with Brennan Johnson out on the right and Kulusevski back in the middle. I think against Roma, I feel like the midfield battle was lost. Not necessarily because the personnel. I just think the way that we set up in that game wasn't really suited to battle what they had. Dybala was dropping in deep, causing a lot of problems because he had sort of a free roam role, picking up spaces in the midfield that Sarr and Benzcore just weren't covering. And it caused us to give away a lot of fouls, lose a lot of 50-50s. And we have to make sure this game that doesn't happen. Now, I would like to see, I know Bissouma is going to be chucked in there, Sarr and Madders, but I want to see Madders start again. No doubt about it, off the back of that City game. And even, to be honest, when he come on in Europa League, he had a good few little touches. He's always positive on the ball. That's the thing about Madders. It's just sometimes he can disappear into a game and not really be known. You know, Madders can have games where he's a complete shadow. And no one even, you can sit and say, well, was Madders even on the pitch? That's not what I need this weekend. I need another top Madders performance. I need you to build upon what you showed us against City and starting him in that game, showing the faith in him to do that will be key. I want to see Ange do that. I want to see Kulusevski back out on the right with that free roam role. I think it's worked really well for him in that last game against City, though I do think the 10 is where he's gonna thrive at Spurs. There's just certain games I feel like we need to overload the attack, and this is one of them. I don't feel like Brennan Johnson's going to have such an impact in this type of game, especially where we're probably going to catch Fulham in a low block at the times. So we need more creative players that are good on the ball to break them down. I think it's obviously the rest of the team sort of choose itself with the amount of, well, the lack of options that we have available at the moment. Solanke, definitely need to see him get a goal. I saw Ange say in his press conference after the Roma game that he wasn't, let's say, he's not disappointed or he doesn't feel like the team needs to create more chances for him. He just needs to, be a bit more composed in front of goal, and they need to take the chances that they get. Do you think that's wrong? I do feel like Solanke doesn't get that many chances in front of goal like you would, from what you'd like to see from a striker. Harry Kane had 7, 8, maybe 9 shots each game, always getting the ball to him, always trying to find the goal. Whereas Solanke, I feel like he has had opportunities to shoot sometimes, and that's, again, I need my players to be selfish. I say it time in and time out. I want my players to be selfish. I want them to have arrogance. I want them to, when Mane and Salah were fighting for that golden boot, them man weren't even passing to each other at times in games. That's what I need. I need that toxicity in my team. You need to have toxic players in your team because it's going to bring the best out of the other ones. Sometimes you need those mentality and fucking hell, I can't talk. Sometimes you need that mentality in your team. That mentality that, it's either me or it's no one. I'm going to do it all. And that's what I'm looking for. I've been looking to find that player at Spurs. I've been trying to see if any of these players have those traits. But at the moment, I just can't see it. Kulusevski is very selfless in front of goal. And although some people may praise him for it, I feel like he should be selfish. He should take a lot more shots. I should try to score more. But he's very focused on making the assist. Same for Maddison. He doesn't seem like he wants to take the 30-yard shots that we saw him scoring against Leicester. I remember when he scored a banger against Tottenham, closed out the game. Literally top bins. I think it was 1-0. So he has this in his locker. Madders has done this so many times in the past, but for us, he just hasn't seemed to dip into that bag. It's really weird. But predictions. I'm gonna go Tottenham win. I feel like Tottenham are gonna win this game. I feel like Fulham, we're playing at home. It's one of those games where we're probably going to pick them off and get our goals. But we're going to have to... It's going to be a tough one, though. I'd say I really rate ESR. I think he's a top player. Tottenham could probably use with a profile of like his in our team at the moment. Such a good ball carrier. Similar to Kulusevski in a way. Kulusevski is obviously a more powerful runner, but with the way that they carry the ball, the way that they play, definitely very similar. And he knows how to pick up a goal. Definitely knows how to pick up a goal. So... He's going to be a problem. Harry Wilson in hot form right now. That guy you just can't stop him. Liverpool YG. So they've got a lot of players coming through. Fulham's got a good team. They've got a lot of young academy players that used to be at top clubs that now found themselves there. Andreas Pereira's another one. Reece Nelson. Wacky Madison, he was at Crystal Palace last year. They've got a lot of good players. So they're definitely going to be a problem. And do you know what? Their manager, Marco Silva, I really like him. I like what he's been building with them over the past 2-3 years, sort of just steady Eddie, you know, slowly getting better. And they find themselves in the top 10. If they can finish in the top 10, it'd be huge for them this season. No doubt about that. But yeah, I'm going to predict Tottenham to win 2-1. It'd be our first 2-1 win of the season because pretty much all our games end with 3 goals. But I think this is going to be one of those games where it's going to be tight. We're going to probably go 2-0 up and they're going to peg one back and maybe it'd be tight towards the end of the game, but ultimately we get the job done. Fraser Forster's, we're going to need another encouraging performance from him. Can't say that he was bad against Roma, but ultimately we just need to see that he's got to give this team a reason to trust in him. He's got to give the fans a reason to put faith in him. And I suppose he made one great save in that game, which gives you something to look at and be like, all right, he's still got the reflexes there a little. Which I suppose he always had as a Southampton player, but getting down to the corners, it's too slow, man. He's too slow. But big up to everyone inside. Big up for tuning into this video. If you haven't already, make sure you smash the like button. Doesn't cost you anything. It won't take a second. Do that and make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's been another episode. Make sure you let me know your thoughts in the comments. Give me your predictions. Whether you think Spurs are going to win, whether you're rooting for Fulham, who your man of the match is. I'm going to say it right now. Madison, as I say, I think he's going to be a key player for us in this game. So I think he can carry us forward and give us a man of the match game. And yeah, man, hopefully a big win, pushing on into that top 4. And look, if City don't win, then we could be a few points behind them. So who knows? Who knows? Big up to everyone inside. Big up for locking in. This is another episode of Durag Diaries.